It's time to jump into the luxury imports of Bowling Green, BMW, Mercedes, Sports Webb, with your host Brian Webb on ESPN Radio 102.7. Starring Vegas Frank with Against the Odds, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill presents WKU Lady Toppers golf coach and PGA teaching professional Adam Gary in Gary on the Green. The Good Fit with Jeremy Harris. Sports Web baseball analyst Danny Hartung from First Step Orthotics. WKU Sports Analysis with Garrett Browning, featuring the Culver's Player of the Week for high school athletics. And also brought to you in part by GC Cuts Gentleman's Choice Spa Salon. All phone interviews via the Linex of Bowling Green Hotline. And now from ESPN Radio 102.7, here's your host, Brian Webb.
Brian Webb it is, hanging out here in the studio, back on the Sports Web. Folks, tomorrow night, I want you to feast your ears on the 200th episode of Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors milestone for me.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, guys. I couldn't do it without the awesome crew that I've assembled over the years. Brought in the best that I could find in outdoor knowledge. Josh Honeycutt, Realtree Outdoors.
If you combine Soki Outdoors Show, Sports Web, and probably all the other events you've done on the side, that's got to be 500, right?
Oh,
over
easy.
500.
Yeah,
I did the math. I don't want to boast. I did the math.
Welcome to the radio crew, Brian.
I would say I'm
that's
there.
Like a
500 shows. That's I'm there.
You're solidified at that point,
I'm
I think.
I mean, I could get canned tomorrow and be like, hey, I had a radio career. You know what I mean?
Star.
But John Kirby and Sergeant J.D. Williams, my hero, and then Michael Penley from Realtree. I mean, just great guys. We'll have a couple of our major regulars on, Ben Parker and Dale Hollow-Dave.
They make it pretty easy on you, to be fair.
Yeah, they make it easy on us. They're superstars.
Dude, you got to take me fishing on one of
I'd
those
love to
days,
take
man.
you fishing, man.
I love to
Have you
fish.
been?
I'm
I mean,
just
what do you like to catch?
I like the bass, the crappie.
Yeah, there you go. You're right up our alley.
And just nice panfish that I can
I'll take
eat.
bluegill all day.
Yeah,
I don't care.
As long as I don't have to put the cricket on the hook or whatever.
Come on, I'll have my niece come do that for you.
You can tell I wasn't lying about that either. Like, that was way too truthful.
You look a little
Get your bait
skittish
on
going
your
on there,
hook.
brother.
Hey, I can handle the worm. I don't know what it is about those crickets, man.
Yeah,
Speaking
this is
of
the
bait-
hard shell, the crunchy thing they make. So
Yeah. Speaking of
I'm not
bait
eating
off the
crickets
hook,
either.
what's KD gonna do now? I mean, he's out a year probably with this, and it just changes free agency, man.
Well,
what happened?
He re-injured. Well, it wasn't a re-injury. It was actually a new injury, or was it?
Well,
Garrett? I mean,
I heard there was an injury last night on
Achilles,
KD.
supposedly.
did you see the video?
No, I did not.
Oh, see, now I need
I'm
to
so out far out of the loop when it comes to basketball.
I'll have to show you the video because you being sort of a injury expert compared to the rest of us, at least. There's a video of him when he plants his foot. It's kind of like he takes his right foot back like he's planting to drive to the bucket. He's done that millions of times. And when his toes with his right foot, when he goes to push off his right toes, you see his calf pulsate, like almost like the Achilles tendon like shot up his calf.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah, you see it in the video.
That's a serious injury.
It was,
there.
and they think
It wasn't as the injury wasn't as bad as
Did
the
he blow
Raptors
his-
crowd
did he-
booing and clapping.
No, I heard
I
that
mean,
was pretty
come on,
pathetic.
guys. I mean,
I know you want to win something.
Listen,
here, but
that's just
not at the
stupid.
expense of a person getting injured, though. But did they? Was it an Achilles injury?
they did say it was an Achilles injury.
then if
They
it's-
haven't said it was torn
If
yet.
it was
but
torn, it could shoot all the way up in the gastrocs muscle.
Well,
that high.
what's funny is
thank you, doctor.
I've only strained my Achilles, but when you put your heel down, I mean, you can't walk.
No,
it's like
you're-
a
it's
shooting pain in the back of your
also,
heel.
Your foot just flops. Then
I
it's
jumped a
just
motocross bike one time. I was way higher than I should have been. And when I came down, I mean, in the air, Danny. Don't look at me. So I came down and didn't have my racing boots on, man, and my feet came off the peg.
Pegs.
And when I hit the ground, my feet hit the peg. Oh, my God. I mean, there's just nothing like hurting an Achilles or an ankle.
My father, my father blew his Achilles riding his bicycle, and his was the surgery and the cast, and he was in the cast for 6 months. I mean, that's a major injury because you have to immobilize that post op, and just you can't move it. So it's just it's a long, drawn out healing and rehab after that. But
There's a video if you haven't
let me
seen
take
it.
a look.
I'll toss it over to you. Yeah, but as for the Warriors, aside from the injury, I mean, man, Steph Curry hit some big shots. Klay Thompson hit some big
mercy.
shots. Yeah, I mean, you can see it. You would say that's almost 100% a tear, right?
I would fathom to say that. Just looking at that is ridiculously ugly. That is terrible.
One of my friends described it best. You can watch like surgeries on YouTube of them doing Achilles surgery, and it looks like a party favor that's not been like blown out to full.
Right.
You know those that. And they go all the way out. When it snaps, it curls up just like that.
It's just a thick tendon band of about 3/4 to an inch wide, and then runs all the way down from the gastroc muscle all the way down to your heel, and it attaches down there to the talus, and then if that snaps, it pulls away and shoots straight up in your leg.
So now I understand what Carl Spackler was talking about on Caddyshack.
Exactly.
You cut it, he'll slice, he'll quit the game.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll quit the game. Danny, everything's going to go to the right.
Yeah, everything. You can't put any weight on that leg there. So it smells. Yeah.
It smells.
I guess
the thing was smells.
For KD though in free agency, I saw where the New York Daily News on their back page, which is their sports front page, they had the Knicks lose Game 5. That was the headline.
Well, that's what I heard he wanted to go. Wasn't that where he kind of wanted to head?
That was the big rumor that the Knicks were the favorite. And
I mean, was he now? Retrospect, was he ready to play?
Well,
I don't think so.
No. Well, and they said, I think Steve Kerr was quoted to Rachel Nichols saying that the doctors told us he couldn't re-injure it. But then in the post-game presser, Bob Myers, the GM, was the one that dealt with all the questions because he was back in the locker room while Steve Kerr was coaching. And Bob Myers was really emotional talking about him tearing his ACL, or possibly he's going to go get an MRI. That's what he was saying.
Wasn't his original injury a quad muscle?
Well, that's what they said. They said it was his calf. But, I mean, I think everybody and their mother who was watching that game knew it was his Achilles, because as soon as he injured it, he grabbed the back of his ankle. And anybody that's ever had that injury, you're like, that's your Achilles. That's not your calf.
And your foot, I mean, your foot.
Down goes Frazier.
Exactly.
Down goes Frazier.
It's almost an unquestionable injury when they do that, because it's so pronounced.
Yeah, it's such a weird spot.
Yeah, and it is, but it's almost immediate, because for one thing, if it was any kind of calf muscle, it's not going to run that low. It'll never run that low as far as that goes, because if you're grabbing the back of your ankle, the toughest place down there is the Achilles. So
news bulletin, parents: if your children play sports, they may get hurt.
Yes, injuries are prone.
I mean, it's part of it. I mean, as bad as it is,
it's unfortunate. But you know what? I think the Raptors are going to take this thing.
They're going to win it,
and the people up there are freaking out. But like you said, I never root for anybody to get an injury. And
that's what makes me go from earlier. I was high on the Raptors.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they lose now.
Yeah.
I literally hope they lose.
It's going to be
and I hope Tyrannosaurus Rex comes through and eats everybody in Jurassic Park.
That may take a little longer.
The flying pterodactyl. They pick people up and...
Jurassic Park cued music.
Oh my!
Can we just switch out also Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy for the TNT crew?
Please,
I love Mike Breen, but
Jackson I can handle, but man,
I like Stan Van Gundy too. I don't know what it is about Jeff.
I never did like his brother. Jeff.
Bring on some football,
please. Between the hedges.
Yep. And
college football's coming up. Hey, I'm going to have Josh Kentzer on. Garrett, you worked the board many times on those 200 episodes of Soki's Outdoors. Big and J's marketing specialist, Josh Kentzer, former veteran, going to be coming on with us, talk college football. Crazy football nut.
Man, yeah,
that'll be fun.
That will be fun. And man, we got some big college baseball this past week. Did your I know your son goes to Ole Miss. Did he make it to Arkansas for the Super Regional?
He did not. He actually had to work. So,
man!
But he said, "Dad, I'm going home to see Grandma next weekend." And I said, "We'll see, son. We'll see. You got to get by Arkansas first. If they won, I was going to send him home, but
there you go.
Unfortunately, they put 7 on him in the 6th inning.
Oh.
So Arkansas is going, and Ole Miss is staying home. SEC is well represented in this one. Mississippi State's going, Vanderbilt's going, Auburn's going, and there's one more. Oh yeah, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, who knew? Hey, I wanted to let you know, Garrett. All these years you've done such a good job helping me out on all these 500 plus shows. I got you a couple of tickets, 4-night stay in the Dominican Republic, man. I'm looking forward to
go ahead with the big. You have to double in for Big Papi. That's
what made me think of that. And what about that, guys?
Man,
I mean,
It's insane.
They said he was an assassin. Why would you want to shoot
what did
Big
Big
Papi?
Papi
Well,
do?
if you've seen like
Must
the
be a
security
Yankees fan.
video,
Did you see him get his
well,
beat up?
this is what's crazy.
They worked that guy.
Well, there was a
Oh,
lot of
mercy.
misconceptions about the story because it's hard to report news from a different country most of the time,
Right.
especially when you're getting it all off social media nowadays. The guy that got beat up in the square was actually the driver of the motorcycle that dropped off the shooter.
Well, he deserved it too.
And,
He's an accessory.
accomplice.
But that's
Yeah,
why
he's an
they
accessory.
that's why they think it was like a hit of some sort because
Sounds
this
like
guy
it.
comes up on a motorcycle, drops the gunman off, gunman walks up, shoots him in the back, and then runs away.
Totally
That's
huge.
all it was.
Guy was a huge Yankees fan, obviously.
That's
Glad David Ortiz is stable.
just horrible. Yeah, they flew him to Boston now. He's up in Boston now
Yep.
having
Good.
some extensive surgery. And they said it hit no vital organs. Well, it actually did. It hit his large intestines, his colon, and another part of maybe a small intestine. But they said he's not totally out of the woods yet, but they gave him a pretty good chance of fully recovery. But that's just a horrible thing.
Well-
man. It's just who doesn't like Big Papi except
I
for
mean, seriously.
Yankee fans?
Yeah, exactly. That's what,
I'm no expert, but if a bullet goes like through your
Through your
stomach,
stomach.
it's gonna hit a vital organ.
It
I mean,
actually
how do
went
you
through.
get around it?
It actually went through him and hit another guy in the leg.
It's like JFK.
That's how close the guy was.
The magic
It's like
bullet.
the magic bullet of JFK that it exists.
Exactly.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with some more magic bullets here with Danny Hartung, the man G,
Namaste.
Garrett Browning, Brian Webb, your host. Don't go anywhere. Sports Webb coming right back at you, 102.7 ESPN.
Sometimes the final step from overcoming an injury is taking the actual first step. I'm Danny Hartung with First Step Orthotics and Prosthetics. My partner, Jeremy Harris, and I have over 60 years' experience here in Southern Kentucky. Experience we put to work every day. Working with the latest orthotic and prosthetic technologies, we form a custom plan based entirely around you to get you to take the first step, whatever that may be for you.
First Step Orthotics for the first step and every step after in Bowling Green on the 31W bypass by Batteries Plus. June is Dairy Month, and no one appreciates wholesome quality dairy and the hardworking families who make it possible more than Culver's. Culver's is working to make sure that there continues to be enough good, wholesome food to feed our country's growing population. Since 2013, Culver's and our guests have helped make a difference by donating nearly $2 million to agricultural education programs like FFA that encourage smart farming, the advancements we need to produce a greater amount of food with the same resources. Visit Culver's.com and Culver's on Scottsville Road for more information. Culver's, welcome to delicious.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to catch a bunch of these here fish this afternoon. And I'm pretty sure I won't be getting a call from the lady talking about the air conditioner because I done got her took care of.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, turn to the experts like I always do this time of year.
Right. Who's that?
Well, that'd be Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling. Yeah. Your comfort is their concern is what they say. Oh, here comes one, boys.
Hold on, let me grab the net.
Earl, is that your phone ringing?
Yeah, it is. Here, take this net. What?
Earl, I need you to get home right now. I am burning up. This air conditioner's out. Get off that boat right now.
All right. Hey, sorry about that, man. The lady is hot. The air conditioner isn't working.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what's your unit? Is it a carrier?
No, it's not a carrier. It's one of them others.
Doesn't matter if it's a carrier or not. Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling can service it for you. No, looks like I got me another one on the line here now. Between holding this net for my fish and the people calling you about the air conditioner, you ain't even got the case.
Ah, pickled okra.
Schedule a pre-summer checkup on your HVAC unit today with Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating, and Cooling.
We're back. Brian Webb here, joined by Major League Baseball analyst, First Step Prosthetics Orthotics, Danny the Limb Hartung, Garrett Browning. in the studio. Baseball, man. We are in the thick of it.
Yep, we're 65 games in now, and my boy G over here is in hog heaven right now. Tampa Bay Rays, half game up on the AL East, and we've gone 7-3 the last 10 games, and they are playing some baseball. But AL Central, Minnesota's still up by 10.5, but Cleveland is playing some pretty good baseball. They're so lacking in pitching right now, but you got to hang to Tito Francona for keeping that team together. And Houston's just gonna. Well, besides Texas, actually, if it started today, the playoffs, it would be Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Houston,
the
Yankees. And surprisingly enough, the Texas Rangers would be the other wild card team.
I think I know one Ranger that would be Joey Gallo. Aside from that,
and he's hurt.
I don't know any other Rangers,
and he's injured. But you don't know who Elvis Andrus is.
Oh, okay. See, now that's a veteran. I didn't know he was still there.
He's still there, man. But no, that's how it's set up right now. No, it doesn't make any difference. Houston out in the West is playing so much better baseball than everybody else. But Texas has won 7 of the last 10, and like 5 in a row. But Seattle's drifted off just as I anticipated. Minnesota is still pitching their brains out.
You're not a big Twitter guy yet, but there was a huge MLB Twitter thing where under every MLB post, somebody would tweet like, "Hey, remember when the Mariners were 18-2 or whatever?"
Yeah,
it was under every post
back in April. So it was all good. But we're in June right now, and like I said, we're a third of the way through the season. But Tampa Bay's still relevant, and you know what? I expect them not to go really anywhere. I really don't. And Boston Red Sox better get their act together because they're only 2 games over 500. As far as the NL East, the Atlanta Braves that just took over the NL East. They're tied. Actually, they're tied with Philadelphia. But this Washington Nationals team are starting to hit the ball now, which is really interesting because there are only 8 games out now, and they're only 2 games under 500. NL Central's still just a dogfight. The Redlegs are about still 4 games below 500, but they're still
6 games below 500.
Is it
but
6 now?
I feel like they're going to win 6 straight and make 500.
I think they actually. No, I'm not laughing about that.
They could.
They're going to make 500 before the year's over.
Maybe not before the All-Star break.
Maybe not before the break. But,
we
got 25 games before the break.
That's true. All they got to do is string
go.
6 wins over
exactly.
0 losses.
You get 6 in a row, you never know. So, and then the Dodgers are just bye-bye, Who's going to compete with them out there?
Yeah.
No.
Colorado, maybe a little bit. Arizona, maybe a little bit.
I don't know.
Not as much, though. But, San Diego's falling off. This Chris Paddock kid's pitching tonight. If anyone ever gets a chance to watch the San Diego game, watch this kid pitch tonight. This big cowboy out of Texas, he's pitching for San Diego. Chris Paddock's his name, and he is a maniac. He is so fun to watch because he's jawing at all times.
Is he mad bum jawing, telling guys to run down the line?
Yeah, that mad bum thing was silly. I mean, these guys are getting out of hand. I mean, and the ball anymore is so juiced. I has to be. These guys are check swinging them, hitting them out of the park, and these guys. Minnesota and Milwaukee both lead AL, NL home runs. And they're just, it's an astronomical rate right now how many home runs they're hitting. It's just insane. It's going to break every record by a mile. By a mile if it keeps up the pace that it's going right now.
They found a bunch of old Spaldings in a warehouse in upstate New York. Had about 100 baseballs in it. I say we bring those into the league and see if the trend continues. See if Mike Trout can hit that out.
It's not so much Trout. Trout's got his regular number, but I'm talking Yelich just got 25.
Bellinger was red hot.
Bellinger,
the first 2 months.
Yeah, and he's but there's going to be probably in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 guys that hit 35 out or more is the way they're looking right now. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of people hitting that many dingers out. But I hope a lot of them are up for their new contracts at the end of the year, so it makes them look a little bit
padding those numbers, baby.
Exactly.
I'll backtrack a little back to the NL East with the Phillies and the Braves. The Braves made a pretty big maneuver recently. They picked up a free agent.
Picked up Mr. Keuchel.
Yeah, I was going to let you do it. You got the voice for it.
He
Dallas
does.
Keuchel.
They finally picked up Dallas Keuchel, and the Cubs picked up Craig Kimbrell. So, I mean, there's no more free agents left, and it only took them 60 games into the season to do that. But Scott Boras is happy for Keuchel. He just made himself a little bit more money. But, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, Keuchel wanted a lot of money. And, you know, he did lead the league in ground balls, and his ERA was great. And he's actually terrific in the postseason. He's only a little bit a touch behind Mad Bum as far as ERA. So, but, no.
Is he akin to Kinkle?
Huh? Not Kinkle, Keuchel.
Quit talking about my sister. Oh, I'll tell you what, man. What else? What else you got? Bring it.
I'm just rattling off.
Bring it.
Well, I gotta switch gears to this College World Series a little bit.
Help me out, brother.
What about? Did you watch that Vanderbilt no hitter the other night with Kumar?
Yeah.
That is unreal. It was funny.
Is that the first ever college no hitter?
It was in the first ever in the Super Regional, and it was only like the 7th ever in the whole NCAA tournament.
I know. I didn't know the stats on that, but 19 Ks. The kid's a freshman.
Yeah, true freshman.
True freshman. The
He's
kid
like,
was pitching high school
if
last
you
year?
saw the video of him, he's like
Holy
6'3",
cow.
210
He's a
too.
Big boy.
Yeah, he was.
Future Yankee.
Something. Yeah, future something.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But, yeah, he'll come out after next year. We'll see. Wow. You know, I like Vanderbilt to win the whole thing, actually, in Omaha. But you never know. It's just Omaha, when you get there, it's really weird because, you know, you come in as the favorite. And I've been there many, many, many times growing up there. But you come in as the favorite and drop, boom, 2. You're done.
Yeah.
You're out. You're out, and some of the weird teams win. But do you never?
Fresno State, Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina, Fresno State, Cal State Pepperdine.
Yeah, I forgot that one.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, we went through the gamut of all of them. And I tell you what, I forgot his name, slips my mind right now, but the coach of Florida State.
Mike Martin.
Mike Martin.
That's the only head coach in college baseball I know, so
Dude,
you're lucky.
He deserves to win one. I mean,
he's like 80, isn't he?
Yeah, but the guy's never won a College World Series.
See, I didn't know that because he's been like 20 times.
Exactly. He's never won there. He's never won.
Give it to him.
And I'd like
Just
to see
give it
him
to
win.
him.
And I'm not a huge FSU fan. I got a kid that works for me that is a huge FS work, and he throws it in my face all the time.
Seminole, baby.
I could care less. You know, I said, "Did you go there?" And he goes, "No." What makes you such a
because he loved Charlie Ward?
Yeah. What makes you such a good fan then? But no big deal. I'd like to see this Martin guy to win it because he never has, and like 20 times there. I mean. Give me 1 out of 20.
Yeah, you got give the guy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 20 exactly, but he has been there at least 10 times.
It was a lot of. It's over 15. I know that.
Man.
But
and they won on a walk-off too to go to Omaha. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did. They beat LSU in the extra innings.
In LSU.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in Baton Rouge. So. Makes my friend Frankie Meatball sad. But
Frankie Meatball.
You know what? They've been there a lot too.
They're pretty good.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Hey, so when you're at the stadium, best stadium snack. What do you go for? What's your go-to? What's the limbs go-to?
Peanuts?
At Omaha or in general?
At Omaha?
In general.
Oh,
Anywhere. Unless there's something special at Omaha.
Not really.
Okay.
It's just pretty standard. You got your burgers and your
run of the mill,
your brats and your dogs and everything. But I've had the crab cakes in Baltimore.
I bet that's awesome.
Pretty dang awesome, man.
How cool is that?
They were
got to be the only park.
Pretty dang good. That bandbox. You talk about Cincinnati being a small park. Wow, that Camden Yards
it really
tiny.
is. It really is tight.
It is tight.
It's not a big one.
It is not a very big place, but their food is terrific.
I feel like you had a good answer for that question. That's why you asked it, Brian.
You know, I did, but it floated out of my brain.
I'm
like
a pure
everything
bratwurst
does.
guy,
You like the
honestly.
brats?
Oh,
I
dude,
love
with
the
a little
brats.
mustard.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
the-
dirty
I
mustard,
like a
too.
little kraut. I like a little kraut.
I'm not a kraut guy.
I like it.
I like the onions in the mustard.
Yeah, I like
man.
the soury
Burn it
kraut
up.
Yeah,
taste.
yeah.
I don't know why.
But
God, I'm hungry now.
Starving, man. I'm starving.
yeah, oh, geez, some food
Oh
here.
man, what would be my go? I tell you, I love Cracker Jacks at the ballpark.
yeah.
I mean, I just can't help it. And you get the prize
Give me
out.
bad beer.
Yeah, that and some Cracker
Give me a nice
Jacks.
cold beer, and I'm good.
Are you going craft beer at the stadium, or are you going the dad beer?
You know, I'll drink Old Milwaukee.
Whatever's biggest at the best
Milwaukee.
price is what I'm going.
Strohs. Give me some
Schlitz.
Strohs.
Give me some old Schlitz or PBR,
Give me that Pabst
baby.
and a screen door for
Dang
my toilet.
right, buddy. Dang right. That's just out of line, lad.
Brutal. I'm gonna give you some Grippos potato chips, chip of the Cincinnati
I gotta
Reds.
try those, man. Hey,
They got a
you
little
just
kick.
had the jerky.
I got to get back on
Pabst.
with old Jace too, Jason and Todd. Too.
Oh, dude, that was a great
I had a
show.
ball with
yeah,
those
you did
guys. That
really
was a
good.
lot
I
of
went back
fun.
and listened to that again. It was that good.
Man, that Tom Thrall, that guy's bourbon
Man,
smooth, man.
He was smooth.
He
He's
is
almost as smooth as the Sports Web, but I mean, it's close.
Dude, no.
It's not even close.
He's got to work his way up for that one, though. he's
Oh,
only
my
he's only in
gosh.
minor league right now. So
Oh
that's
my
about-
gosh! Any NFL y'all want to chat about? We got a few minutes.
I really haven't paid much attention.
You know,
to
I'm going to ask Frank this.
Not a ton of
There's not really
headlines,
much
honestly,
going on,
this
except one of
offseason.
There's not.
Somebody got shot and killed the other day. Somebody that was
Oh, a former
that.
Florida. Oh no, he got
I
charged
didn't
with
hear
murder.
about that.
I don't know this NFL player.
yeah,
Well,
and
college football
it was
wise,
a Jaguar or something.
Didn't the
Man.
Tops pick up a couple of good transfer linebackers?
I saw that a while ago. I don't have it pulled up in
Came
front
out
of me.
Sixth, I think. Kid from Georgia.
Yeah, they did get a Georgia linebacker just a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure he's
Malik Staples.
he's
that? Is
immediately
that
eligible. Yeah,
Toppers?
he's
good.
They look good this year.
well.
I don't know yet.
What I
mean,
think
not
is
bad.
the big thing for their football team is their defense wasn't that bad last year. They just couldn't score enough points to win, which is kind of totally uncharacteristic.
Helton's going to change that.
Well, and exactly. He was under Jeff Brom, so you kind of think that the pieces could be there for a 6-win season. Plus, the schedule works out really well. They play Louisville and Arkansas this year,
Wow.
who both have new coaches. Both were really underwhelming last year. Even Louisville. I thought Louisville was going to be a little better. I knew Arkansas was going to be bad, but Louisville, man, they just totally fell apart. We should have
They
beaten
really
Louisville
did.
last
We
year.
should have. We really should have won that game.
ESPN
I mean,
came out with the Huskers at the preseason at 21 this
they
year.
made it,
so-
cracked
Top
the top
25.
20. You got to be very happy with
Dude,
that.
if Scott Frost can pull off a top 20, top 25,
Lifetime deal.
dude,
Lifetime.
it will be a lifetime deal
Lifetime.
because it's been
Sign
so
it.
long since we've cracked the top 10 forever, but let alone 20. You know, we haven't had more than a 5-win season for the long time. So
We got about 5 minutes before we're up against the break. I want to ask you guys the same question that I plan on asking Vegas Frank. There's two NFL teams that I really am uncertain about their future this year in the league, and one of them I want to see what you guys think. One of them has a similar situation to Tom Brady, but he's not as good maybe as Tom Brady, just as good. And the other is a fairly young stud quarterback that the team is just I don't know what they're going to do. Where do you see the Carolina Panthers and the absolute great team that they can be, the New Orleans Saints? I mean, what happens to these two? I just feel like these two teams are not going to be on the radar this year.
The Saints, I think that's a little surprising pick. I still think Drew Brees has got plenty in the gas tank, man. He's just an animal, and their team, I mean, they're a pass interference call away from making the Super Bowl, and who knows what they would have done in the Super Bowl. But I could see where they're not as hot this year.
I could see that with the loss of Mark Ingram.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I tell you what,
Big loss.
That was a clicking part of that offensive machine there with Mark Ingram there. But you know, Kamara's a stud. I don't know. I would fathom to say that I would take New Orleans more so than the Carolina Panthers, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like the Panthers are going
I'm
to
just
do
not.
much.
I've never.
He didn't look right.
They got
just
Gerald
didn't.
McCoy, right? Didn't
Yeah.
he sign for the Panthers recently?
I
But
just don't see it. You know, I mean, Cam's great. I like Cam, but it's just, I don't know what it is. They leave me a little flat.
well, and it seems like one of the keys to their offense every year it's Greg Olsen,
Yeah.
but he can't stay on the field for 17 games.
The guy's made of glass half the time.
I mean, he's probably a top 5 tight end when he's healthy for
absolutely.
sure.
He's fun to watch too, and he's a bruiser, but he just gets beat up because you know what? He walks into people to get hit. I mean, it's just crazy. But
Two teams that you think are going to flourish that may not have been once thought to have flourished in the next season. I'm going to say mine would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're going to be pretty hot. And then on top of that, the Cleveland Brownies, baby. Watch out.
I like your picks on the Browns, but I tell you what, I like this Raider team.
You do?
I do like the
They
Raiders.
can't be much worse, right?
Let me get one. Raiders. Let me get
Raiders.
Oh,
That's
way
great,
better
yeah.
than mine.
No, I do like the Raiders. I like the direction John Gruden's going. People were, but they're scoffing at him.
They were
but
scratching their head.
I like the way they're going. I really do. And be careful. Watch the Raiders.
I like it.
I think
Frank will like that.
If I
Frank's
was
team.
if I was going to, I'd go. Give me the New York Jets. I think the Jets will surprise some people this year.
Little Le'Veon Bell.
You know what? I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but I think Josh Rosen is going to do pretty well in Miami.
Right now, him and Fitzpatrick are pretty tight in the race for the,
But
starting
Fitzpatrick did start off the best quarterback through the first 4 weeks last year. He's pretty capable. I'm not saying he's
a veteran,
a great player.
He's
but
a veteran. He's got a couple years more than Rosen.
He's Jekyll and Hyde, though.
Exactly.
He is He's not as bad as Bortles and James. I knew what you were thinking, Lim. He's not as bad as Bortles and James. But he's right there in the back seat of the Lincoln.
He's getting there, but I wonder. I actually wonder how the kid from Arizona is going to do.
Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like they're going to get him beat up somehow.
I just don't think he's tall enough, man.
I mean, give him a few years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, throwing him in as a starter, good luck.
Welcome to the NFL,
Yeah,
baby.
good luck, man.
Behind the Arizona Cardinals offensive line.
Big, massive O-line.
Throwing to 40-year-old Larry Fitzgerald.
Nothing gets through here.
Just throw it in this direction. He'll
Oh,
catch
that
it.
team! I bet they win 3 games. This
Yeah,
year.
that's
Maybe.
you know what? I think you're right.
Hey, that's improvement.
Yeah, that's 2 better, isn't it?
Exactly. I can't wait.
Did they win one last year? They did win.
They
one.
did win one.
Yeah,
I think just one.
I think they won one. I don't really know.
Watch the Raiders.
The
Raiders.
Circle the wagons. I love it.
That's a pretty tough division for the Raiders,
It's
too.
It
very-
really is. But
The Chiefs and the Chargers.
And the Chiefs.
well, you got Pat Mahomes coming
You got
back.
to see what's going to happen
with.
with Tyreek Hill, his
Yep.
suspension.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
a lot of, but they did get Matthew or whatever from Arizona, right? I never say his name right.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, is it Matthew?
It's just Matthew. It's
It's
spelled
just Matthew? I
Mathieu.
always
You
wanna
mean
say-
the Honey Badger?
I always want to say Matthew.
Just call him Honey
Didn't he
Badger.
just get in
Yeah,
some trouble
Honey
too?
Badger.
He might have.
I thought
He's
he
always
just
in
saw him.
trouble.
No, I don't think. I didn't
I
hear
thought
that.
I saw him get in trouble for something. But
If you're
It's
an Arizona
possible.
Cardinal, you probably caught a charge
No,
sometime in the
that's
last.
Or a Kansas City Chief, evidently.
Yeah, that's
or
what I
that
meant.
and the Raiders. You get the Raiders, or you get banished to New England.
Raiders. I love it. Yeah, we got 1 minute, folks. I want to tell everybody thanks for listening. Coming up on the show, Vegas Frank after the break. Then I've got Chase Landrum, WKU Hilltopper golfer, filling in for Adam Gary. Adam, during the summer when he's recruiting and doing all his things, his absolute workload goes up because all these people get in with their lessons and try to get it while they can. So we got that coming up. Danny, always a pleasure, my man.
Thank you, my brother. Anchor down, go Vols.
Go Vols. Garrett, always a pleasure. Hey, don't forget to tease. Garrett, you'll be up in Lexington covering the Warnies Lady Raiders.
As long as there's no rain in Lexington this weekend, hopefully I'll be there Friday through Sunday. Single elimination Friday at 12 here on
Katie
ESPN.
Garner, Kentucky Miss
softball, and then they had 3 hitters named to the first team 2A.
Congrats.
Awesome. Great job. Good luck up there. Win it all, Coach McKinney. Get them up there and win it all. Folks, thanks for listening to the Sports Web. We'll be right back here in just a second with Vegas Frank and Gary on the Green, ESPN 102.7.
Man, what happened to your truck?
Well, got myself a prize. Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
$200 in tips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir?
Bet.
Hit me.
It's a bust.
Whoa! I am on fire.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
Welcome back to the Sports Web on the Linex Hotline. Linex Bedliners, Roger Gina, get over that little road. Check them out. Porter Pike intersection. Nobody does it better. Take care of that truck for you. And, keep the bloodstains out of the back if you're a hunter or a Las Vegas mobster, whatever. Hey, what's up, man? Vegas Frank against the odds.
Hey, we're doing good. It's getting warm. I haven't laid out yet, but soon I'll be working on my tan.
Remember when I first moved into an apartment complex out there, that very thing happened.
You laid out?
I laid out. Women were not real particular about the clothing that way they were at the pool. And I don't know, man. Kids around and all. I was pretty culture shocked.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't, they're more about, making sure they get the sun. So I don't really know if they're worried about the attire so much.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Hey, anyways, somebody that was worried last night was the Raptors fans outside at Jurassic Park. I saw sheer confusion on their faces. Oh my goodness, this thing's going back to Oakland.
It is. I mean, it seems like we're going to get at least one more game. I don't know exactly what's going to happen when we get to Thursday, but we're going to get at least one more game. Toronto wasn't able to close it out last night. Really quickly, we're going to talk about Durant probably for a little bit, but I think that Toronto, speaking about the game towards the end, Toronto sort of mismanaged that, calling the timeout with all that momentum. There's 2 minutes and change left. They have the lead, and then Nick Nurse calls that timeout. That could be like the first coaching situation, I think, that during these finals that people would really question. I mean, with the lead, it seemed like it sort of killed the momentum for them, and they wanted to have like one knockout play drawn up, and ultimately it didn't work out, and the Warriors were just going to leave it all on the court. They did. They were able to pull it out.
Yeah, and I was really worried about a re-injure on KD, and that very thing happened. It looked like he got a piece of somebody's foot. I don't know if it was Bogut or who was in there, but he came down on it funny, and, that's all it took. I mean, that thing was not 100%. But then you got Looney out there who's, grabbing at his rib cage and his collarbone all night long. I mean, this Golden State team is banged up.
They are, and this has been a theme that seems for this finals is that the team has all had kind of like nagging injuries. I mean, with Clay and with Looney, obviously you spoke to. McKinney's been banged up. Cousins hasn't been 100%, and obviously Durant missing over a month. Really, he just wanted to play. They cleared him to play. I don't know how close to 100% he was going into that. Your rhythm is going to be off. You haven't played in over 30 days, so that was going to be a hard thing to kind of implement. He wanted to play. So you re-aggravate the injury, and now it seems like their fears are that there's going to be some type of Achilles injury. If that is the case, then last night kind of changed the whole landscape for the NBA for the next year because it affects free agency. Because Durant is the big free agent domino to fall, everybody else kind of like lines up after that to see where their contracts lie. And I'm not really going to talk about the money or whatever right now, but a lot of stuff has changed just based on that injury because the Achilles injury is one injury that is not insured. So you have to wait and see what's going to happen and how this is going to affect things going forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wish the best for him. Great player. And totally saw how much he helps out in the minutes that he did play last night and, really opens it up for Curry and Klay Thompson. It really does. Makes a difference, Frank. I don't see the Raptors letting this one get away from them. I mean, it could possibly go the distance, but I think the Raptors are going to win it, man.
I agree with you. I think that I actually think they're going to win on Thursday. I think they're going to win in 6. But I think that there's a lot of emotion involved. Obviously, the way that this whole season has played out, or this playoff season has played out, the Raptors just look they look more in sync. They have more length. They're going to start out, I think, more focused when we get into Thursday. It seems that they were sort of able to weather the storm last night, kind of overcome that emotion. At the end, they came up short, but you double team Kawhi Leonard, and you're waiting for Lowry to knock down a shot, and he was in a terrible spot to take that last second shot.
He was.
So we're going to see how there'll be adjustments made and everything. But I mean, ultimately, I think that the Raptors are going to win this series. It's just a question of it happens on Thursday or if it happens on Sunday.
The one thing that comes out of it for me, it always amazes me when I watch Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Their release, they don't even have to be looking at the goal. It just blows my mind. Some of the just the athletes that are the Golden State Warriors have. I mean, and then you got the team aspect, and Golden State's pretty good about spreading it around, but you've got Kawhi Leonard who doesn't care if he scores or not. I mean, which is amazing. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I think it's a good series. I mean, I don't know what you think about it, but to me, anytime you can watch some old school basketball, it seems old school to me again, and this whole playoffs has. And that's why I've enjoyed it immensely, man. And I don't know if you've got the same thoughts about it, but overall, great series, I think.
No, it's been fun. I've enjoyed the playoffs. I mean, I'm an NBA fan. I mean, regardless, a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be weird to not have LeBron in the playoffs. But listen, there's a lot of players in the NBA, and there's a lot more, stars in the NBA than just LeBron. And that we've got to see a lot of these guys get featured. You've got to see Giannis, and you got to see the Portland Trail Blazers sort of come on. The Nuggets, I mean, the reemergence of the Nuggets kind of turning into a power in the West. So the playoffs have been fun. A lot of those teams that we just mentioned are going to only get better. So it's been a lot of fun. I love the playoffs, and it's cool that we're going to get at least one more game, maybe 2. But this final series has been good. It sucks that that Durant is hurt and that he can't be there, but this has been a fun series.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it won't be long till we're talking about football. You're listening to Vegas Frank Against the Odds all the way from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, sponsored by JBK Network Consulting. Jim Grant over there, IP Everything. Get over there and talk to Jim. He can take care of your business networking and many, many more things when it comes to IT. Man, I don't know. I'm looking forward to football, to be honest with you. I know the NBA is almost done, and we got a little baseball to watch and some off-season stuff, some training camps coming up. So training camp's already going on, So it's like it's here, Frank. I mean, are you excited? You got some news out of the NFL you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, basically, OTAs are all wrapping up. They're going to have about a 5 to 6 week period before they officially will open all of their training camps all around the league. Players are going to be cautious. There's a lot of guys that are nursing injuries that are they're not going to be in any contact type of situations. You get to see, like in Houston, just for example, with Hopkins and Fuller both kind of nursing injuries. Fuller obviously recovering from the Achilles injury, but Hopkins having the sore knee. He'll be recovering from those things. You get to see who's going to be that second and third tier receivers sort to emerge in the receiving core. With the Rams, obviously, all this talk about Todd Gurley having possible arthritis in his knee. If that's the case, that's horrible. But they don't even want him to attend OTAs. They don't even want him around the facility. They don't want to run a risk of him bumping into a table, I guess. I don't know. But they don't want him in the building. So they're very cautious right now. The teams are going to be cautious, and they're going to wait and see what happens as we get closer to training camp. But you're going to see similar to a LaDainian Tomlinson type of thing. Remember when LaDainian Tomlinson was playing with the Chargers all those years?
Yeah.
Never played in the preseason. Never touched the ball in the preseason. Never took a snap. I don't think he was ever dressed, in most cases. I don't think he was ever in uniform for a lot of their preseason games. I think they're going to handle the Gurley thing similarly with the Rams.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I can't wait. I don't know. I'm just really excited about. I don't know. I hate to say this on air, but I'm excited about what the Browns are going to do. I just want to see that team in action.
Well, I mean, for me, I think they look like a tremendous team on Madden. I'm not sure how it's going to be for an actual football team. They have a lot of stars. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. For us to have, Baker Mayfield with Beckham and Juice, Landry, that's going to be really fun. They've got a lot of talent all around on both sides of the ball. The Browns are going to be a competitive team, and I think they're going to make a lot of. They're going to scare a lot of people. We're going to see them on prime time a few times. I think they have a Monday night game early in the season, so that's going to be fun. We're excited to see that.
That is. I'll just be honest with you. I'm going to be riding them at the sports book, riding them this year.
Hey, I might be right there with you.
I hope so, man. We can plan it out. Man, I tell you, there was some ton of stuff we could have dove into the NBA. We got over to football, which I'm just excited about getting to start talking about again. Not too much news coming out of it right now. What's up with the Titans?
Waiting to see how all the off-season workouts go. With
Mariota looked good.
Mariota's looking good. I think that they're going to give both of them plenty of reps. Mariota is going to be the starter going into the season, and I think that they're going to give Tannehill. I think they're going to scenarios where they have like a quarterback 1 and a quarterback 1A type of thing, bringing Tannehill in on packages. Remember, Tannehill played receiver in college. Didn't play quarterback until the second half of his last year in college. So there's definitely a possibility that they could be doing some of those packages. And the way the NFL is now, they line up all these. They just put talent on the field. They just try to put guys on the field that can make plays. And if you have the receiving core that they've got, the tight ends obviously lined up, the Henry in the backfield, and then you could put Tannehill and Mariota on the field at the same time, I think that makes some people nervous.
I think you're right. I tell you, coming out of the Chiefs, they picked up a really good defensive player from Arizona, didn't they?
They did. The biggest concern right now for the Chiefs is them waiting out to see what Tyreek Hill's suspension is going to look like. There can be a suspension without an investigation. That's an NFL policy. The rule has been kind of revised. They can suspend him pending the investigation. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But right now, that receiving core is relatively, banged up. I mean, you got Travis Kelce. I mean, it's not a bad option to have. But, I mean, as far as the OTAs go, it's a lot of guys that we don't know if they're going to be around when training camp breaks. It's just guys to get on the field to work out with Mahomes and this offense.
Yeah, and that really hurts you, right there deep into preseason if you've not been together much, and you really go into the first game of the season not 100% sure what your 100% is. You know what I mean? It's hard to know.
No, you're right, and again, a lot of things change from OTAs, which are taking place now, or are finishing up now, or they'll be done like in the next day or so, and when training camp actually breaks, because you are not going to risk a younger player. You're not going to risk your veteran. You want to have bodies on the field to run plays. You don't want to have your stars or your talent risking any type of injury whatsoever.
Oh, man, you're right. Dolphins going to try to make a run, try to get it together this year. But Fitzpatrick, I hear, and Rosen are kind of battling for that number one spot.
Well, one of the things about being a guy that studied math at Harvard, I'm not speaking about you or I.
No, you're definitely not talking about me.
He understands a lot of systems. The guy could be a coach tomorrow, so he's very familiar with a lot of offensive systems. Guy's played for, 7, 8 teams. So the guy has seen it all as far as running a system and being effective within the system. And I think the offense is very similar to what the Jets have run, that he's been a part of, is what the Dolphins are going to be doing. Is very similar offensive sets and system, what the Jets run. And it's very similar to what Tampa Bay has run. So it's kind of like something that he's been involved in the last few years. So he's comfortable with the system. And he's a veteran. He's experienced. He's there to kind of help and assist Rosen. Long-term, Rosen is the guy.
Yeah.
But, Fitzpatrick is there.
No question.
To kind of, it's sort of like a Kurt Warner, Eli Manning kind of thing.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But here's the thing. What is it about Fitzpatrick? I mean, he's like, if there's a crease right there between being a good quarterback and being a great quarterback, he's like right on the I don't know how to describe him. I mean, he gets in sometimes and he looks like a Pro Bowler, and then 2 weeks later he looks like he's never played the game. I don't understand it.
I don't know what it is. I think it's a lot of it is schematic, and it's like a week to week, where like most of your game planning is adjusted between week 1 and 2, and then between weeks 2 and 3. And I think sometimes you start to go back to older habits. And I think because he's been in the league for so long, maybe he leans on older habits. If he's successful early, maybe he goes back to those older habits that would trend to being not so successful, because he's not the athletic guy.
That's true.
That he was, and he's older.
He is.
He's going to get older every year. We all are.
Oh, stop reminding me, Frank. We're going to try to put a bow on it real quick. Got a couple minutes left with Frank. A couple of real quick questions on the NFL, and we'll get out of here. First of all, there's two teams I want you to tell me just in a nutshell what you think we're going to see, and I'm not sure about either team. The Saints, who are going to be going in with a similar Brady situation with an older quarterback who, I said last year I didn't think he'd get it done. He did, just short of a playoff berth, I think. But the Panthers, Saints and the Panthers coming out of the same division. What are these teams going to look like real quick?
Well, the big thing is going to be health with regards to the Panthers. I'll just mention the Panthers first. Cam Newton's got to be 100% right. The team has made major strides. They've addressed some things in the offseason as far as protecting him. You've got to keep the guy upright. He cannot be a scrambling quarterback. He's too big for that. He cannot take the hit. Number one, they're going to be cautious about that. I think he's going to be more pockets. He's going to be more pocket placed than wandering around. That's with the Panthers. With regards to the Saints, they've had back-to-back seasons of a lot of heartbreak. Last-second losses in the playoffs, back-to-back years. I think the Saints, with the combination of having basically the toughest schedule, them and the Raiders have the two toughest schedules in the league this year. I don't think the Saints make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
It's going to be tough.
It really is. Vegas Frank here going to finish up with some UFC. What do you got?
Well, so we look at Cerrone. The guy's had close to 30 fights, I believe, in the UFC, over 30 fights in the UFC. Just leaves it all out there. Him and Ferguson exchanging. Ferguson ultimately, gets the win. One mistake that might have been made for the official standpoint in between the first and second round, there might have been a late hit on the account of Ferguson. Could have ruled to a disqualification, but the disqualification then ends up making the fight a no contest. The judge rules the other way. So because it wasn't in the eye, they didn't rule it as a disqualification type of penalty. And during the fight itself, in between that same two rounds, Cerrone's trying to clear his sinuses out. He blows his nose, and I think he was aiding in shutting his eye up. So they had to end the fight because of medical precaution, because his eye is swollen shut. He can't see. The guy would fight with no eyes. He doesn't care. But he had to be. His eye was shut. He had to shut the fight down. Ultimately, Ferguson wins in a TKO. So we don't know what's going to be going forward for Cerrone. But now Ferguson has to fight a title fight. Poirier and Nurmagomedov will be fighting for the lightweight championship sometime in September, I believe. So we're hoping that we're going to see Ferguson face the winner at the end of the year.
Man, I'll tell you what, bringing it all together right there. Love finishing up on some UFC. Frank, always a pleasure. Great job as always. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Hey, tomorrow night's my 200th episode of Soki's Great Outdoors. I'm excited about that at 5 o'clock.
Well, congratulations. Always good talking to you.
Yeah, same here, man. We'll be right back from Las Vegas to Bowling Green to your radio, Sports Webb, ESPN 102.7.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, boss. I can make it across. Well, then do it.
Well, you got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
You heard it right there, folks. But on the Line X hotline this week, we've got WKU future sensation and Glasgow native Chase Landrum on the Line X hotline. What's up, Chase?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a while since you've been on Sports Web. I think since high school we had you on back your senior year. storybook senior year you had there, and here you are, WKU Hilltopper. The worst case news that you could ever hear last year, losing your coach. I know it touched you as well. You hadn't been around him a whole long time, but you knew him beforehand, and I know it was a crusher for everybody. But what a resilient season you Hilltoppers had, man! And hats off to Billy Tom Sargent and Easton, man. Doing what they did. Just unbelievable season. Great time to be a Hilltopper golfer, man. How you been?
I've been doing pretty good. Just starting tournaments throughout the summer. Doing some things around here, playing some tournaments, and getting the summer going off strong.
Well, let's start with your words on this last year's season as a Hilltopper.
Oh, it was a great season for what Coach Metz had to come into. It was pretty hard for all of us to go through what we went through last summer, and Coach Metz come in and kept the tradition going like Coach Hatchett would like it wanted to be going. I mean, he come in, done what he needed to do. We all and hats off to all of us for all the hard work that we put in, and we had a great year.
Man, you did. You said it great right there. What he came into, and just the whole synergy of the team having gone through something so emotional. It is amazing. Honestly, Chase, I think it ought to be a movie. I mean, that's how amazing it is. I mean, you just don't hear of those kind of things happening. And I totally agree with you. And you all did an absolute great job of bouncing back and getting through that. Man, I'll tell you, you're up at my favorite course where I'm also a member. You've been a member a long time. But Willow Oaks, man, they've came in and done some really good improvements, not only to the clubhouse up there, but they have really made this golf course. First of all, that golf course is as good as any golf course you're going to find in Kentucky, especially the greens. And it seems like that they're getting the full potential out of them. What are you noticing up there, and what's it like to be able to play on that every day, get ready for the next season?
It's starting to come around. We had a little rough period where the greens took a long time for the greens to get, but they're finally coming around. The course is starting to turn into pretty decent shape. I mean, this weather we're getting this week, I mean, it's just helping it out even more.
Yeah.
The rain, it helped it out. It made the course a little bit more softer, which is probably what it needed.
Yeah.
And you can see improvement. I mean, around the clubhouse, around the course. I'm seeing improvements every day.
That's the great thing about it. When you get the right people on it, it's going to take that work period, like you said, earlier in the spring. But I tell you, sometimes you got to lay down sometimes you got to do it right and get through those first little bit of doing it right in order for the course to catch up. And I think that's what you're saying. The course is really catching up and adhering to these improvements. But just by looking at the greens, I mean, they look so good, and it's got to be good for you to be able to play there on a daily basis and keep your game in tune, because it is a challenging course and a nice course. Great people up there, man. I can't wait to get up and play a few rounds with you this summer, and I'll be up there soon. Man, Pebble Beach coming up, U.S. Open. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, and we'll finish up with a golf tip like Adam does. We'll finish up with a golf tip. I want you to kind of tell some guys some things and gals out there that are doing what you do. But, man, if you ever played Pebble Beach, Chase, you're a young guy. I don't know if you've gotten out there.
Shoot, I wish I could.
Yeah, no, I'd like to be on your bag during a U.S. Open one day, man. It'd be awesome. But listen, these guys are going to go at it. And, the weather there is different, and it can be one day is completely different from the next. I know you've experienced that on the college trail and the high school trail, how that happens. But who do you think's a clear favorite in this one right now?
Ooh, I don't think there's really a clear-cut favorite this week, but I think it's hard not to look at Tiger or Brooks Koepka. I mean, they're just. I think Tiger's past record at Pebble and the way Brooks has won the last 4 out of 8 majors. I mean, it's hard to not overlook them. But I think a dark horse in this race would probably be Matt Kuchar.
That's a good pick, man, because he's steady. He's steady.
He hits it straight enough on that golf course to where that he's not going to hit in the high rough most often.
That's a really good pick right there as a dark horse. You're 100% on the money, and that's a managing golf course, and he putts it well enough, and his short game's good enough. I'm thinking it's going to be a -3, -4 winner on Sunday of next week when that happens, and looking forward to seeing how it unfolds. I like your pick. I'm going to think right now. I'm coming out of the gate thinking a little bit along the lines of Dustin Johnson for some reason.
Mhm.
I just can't get him out of my head. I feel like it sets up for him. He's going to be able to go over some of that trouble. He's going to be able to make the golf course a little shorter, and with his irons and his putting, I mean, he's definitely a scary force in that one. But I think there's very possible to be a dark horse come up. And if I had to say a dark horse, I don't know really. There's a few guys hitting it well. I would love to say Cameron Champ, but he doesn't have his game at 100 right now. So I don't know, but the U.S. Open, it seems to always surprise us. And I like it when you see some amateurs make it to the second round to make the cut. That's always fun. You know? And we've got a good amateur out of Kentucky, McDaniel. I don't know if you know him or not.
Yeah, I know Chip. Yeah,
He's a player, isn't he?
he's a player.
Man, I'd like to see him shock the world and get in this thing, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
Chase, man, let's finish up with a golf tip, man. And I tell you, you could give me chipping tips, and I mean, nobody hits their fairway woods like you. I'll just tell you that right now. I mean, no par five is no par five. Every par five is scared when Chase Landrum steps up on the tee box. But with that said, some of these younger guys, and I watched you come up through the high school ranks and just solid player. Always solid player, always in contention. What would you tell these young guys or gals that maybe their junior year of high school that have some game over this next 2-year period? What's a good tip to help them get ready if they want to get to that next level like Chase Landrum?
I'd say to be honest, I think you should just be patient. Let your game come to you, and once you get your game to come to you, then just keep working hard at it. I mean, you have the talent. You just gotta keep practicing and keep everything strong every day.
Don't you think that once you find your flow, like what you're comfortable with, and you just capitalize and build on it, if you just do that day in and day out, there's really an opportunity out there to play college golf, isn't there?
Oh, I agree 100% with that.
Chase Landrum, Scotty by nature, top by profession, working on that golf career, man. I can't wait to see what happens. I want you to be the next guy who makes it to that NCAA tournament, man.
All right, thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome. You can catch him next season on the Hill. We'll be right back. ESPN 102.7.